It was 14th March 1958, and my grandmother, Joyce Watson, and her family, along with so many others, set out on a journey on the MS Scorpion from her homeland in Malta in the hopes of finding a better life in Australia. While my grandmother was to experience the effects of diaspora very soon after her arrival in Australia, something even more confronting was to take place on March 31st, before she had even reached the mainland.
And while we were on the ship, we were asleep, and what happened, there was a fire in the engine room, and so then we all had to get off. What they did because I was only 9 going on 10, and my sisters, we were all put in a basket and with a rope, and we were taken down into the lifeboat that way. So yeah, everybody got off, and only one person died because he had heart trouble. He had a heart attack, and he died. And he actually was on our lifeboat. Yeah. So we were at sea for all night until early in the morning, and luckily the sea was very calm. Because if it was rough, we would have died. The boats would have tipped.
Between 2014 and 2015, New South Wales alone received upwards of 66,000 immigrants, most requiring some form of assistance. The provision of aid for immigrants, along with the charities that assist with the process, ensured in the 1950s, as well as now, that new arrivals are able to more easily settle into what will hopefully become their new home. While immigration is currently a contentious issue in Australia, the power of charity and aid in easing the process of arrival cannot be underestimated.
Uh, we saw another boat not far from where we were, and they stopped and they took us on there. And we were very hungry. They were like pancakes. Everyone was getting them. And so we were on there for a while. And then they took us back to Eden. We were there for a while until we had to wait for another ship, which was the ship called Osava. But in the meantime, we were being looked after by the Red Cross, and they gave us clothes and food. They were very good to us. And then eventually we got on the Osava, and that's what we came to Australia with. So by the time we got to Australia, it took us about 8 weeks to get here.
When my grandmother finally arrived in Australia, she and her family noticed a very clear juxtaposition between the very small island of Malta and its terrain and the expanse of bushland in Australia. This was one of the first barriers that had to be overcome for my grandmother to find a new home in Australia.
Get here. At first, my dad wasn't that happy when we got here. He kept saying, "I don't like it here. I want to go back to Malta. This is not for me here."
While my grandmother enjoys visiting Malta, she now considers Australia as her home, particularly since she has now lived in Australia most of her life and brought up her own family here. According to Orgad, studies show that the same representation can carry several quite different, often contradictory meanings, and in 1996 this was proven to be true, when the Australian National Maritime Museum held an exhibition of stories and relics from the ill-fated ship that my grandmother had travelled on. While there was one central mediation as collective memory, survivors had their own stories to tell, and precious items and personal memories to share. As stated by Dr. Navin Dolaswala, perhaps it is by shedding light on the past that we can better understand the present.
Australia has been a very good country for us. We started off badly because of what happened to us, because my parents didn't insure anything. So we really didn't have much money. And so we really struggled at the beginning. But over the years, things got better, and we were very happy here, and we still are. We call Australia our home now,